This is Archery vlog number 11. It is Saturday, about 11:15 a.m., and I'm driving home from the range. I got to the range today about, I don't know, 9:30-ish, I guess, maybe a little bit later. And they were having a work day there. A work day for a range is when they have the members come in and they clean up and they make, they reset the targets and they fix all the things that might be messed up, like, if a bale of hay needs to be repacked, or, if one of the targets has fallen over or something like that, and they get the range into functional state. Well, they're having a special shoot tomorrow. They're having a 3D target shoot tomorrow. So they're going around putting the 3D targets up everywhere that they're supposed to go. But I didn't know that. I thought that the work thing was last week when I couldn't go. So I got to the range with the entire intention of just shooting. I didn't want to think about anything else. I didn't want to do any extra work on the fucking weekend. I just wanted to go out and shoot. Well, I got there and I felt a bit foolish because I wasn't there to work. And they were nice enough to let me shoot in that alley range, the one that I usually film in when I'm recording these. So I shot there for a little while, and I tried to reproduce everything that I've done at home on my own personal range, and I can't get the same results. Every time I think that I've actually figured something out, when I try to apply it at the range, it just doesn't work. It's no good. I'm shooting all over the place, And it's frustrating, because in order for me to make an advancement in the process of learning to be an archer, I need to be able to produce results. I'm reading this book called Instinctive Archery Insights. Basically, from what I read from my vocabulary's gone. And the precursor to the book, the guy who wrote the book was talking about how he came up with this particular, concept, and went a little bit into his background as to where he started it from or where he discovered it from, that kind of thing. So it looked interesting. It says it was instinctive archery, and that's what I'm trying to practice. Practice instinctive instead of targeting, whatever the hell it's called. I thought I'd get the book, and I'm reading it. So I started reading this book, and the suggestions he's making about a good way to get into instinctive archery and the way that you should be shooting and stuff was different than what I was doing. I had before done something similar, kinda, to what he had said, which is when I canted the bow and I was firing. And that was all well and good, but as soon as I got to the range and I tried that shit, it just didn't work. So I put that away and I tried to just go back to the regular, straight bow. And I thought I found a technique within the last week that was working well. I found a new anchor point. I believe I told you this in my last video. I found a new anchor point. I was shooting relatively consistently. I was feeling pretty good about that. I was able to reproduce it, every day that I was going into my yard. I was able to reproduce the same kind of results with this shooting technique. As soon as I get to the range, boy, right out the fucking window. Didn't produce anything. And it's really frustrating to think that I'm making some sort of progress when I'm not. I can't figure out what the difference between my home bales of hay and the targets at the range. I can't figure it out. It's not the distance, because I'm counting my footsteps, making sure they're consistent. So that's not it. The only thing that I can think of that could possibly be it is that my home range, my home hay bale, is on an angle from where I shoot, as compared to the straight on with the hay bales at the range. Now, I may have told you guys this before. I don't know. I might have. I might not have. But I'm going to repeat it anyway. The last time I was at the range and I was out there shooting, I got frustrated because, once again, I was just shooting all over the damn place. And so I decided I was just going to do something for the fuck of it. So I started walking and shooting. I'd walk to the right and, adjust my aim as I'm walking and fire, and I walk backwards and adjust my aim as I'm walking and fire. And I noticed that was on an angle to the target, I was shooting better than when I was straight on. So I decided I was just going to stand at an angle to the target and fire and see how it worked out. And it was relatively consistent. So that's the only thing that I can think about in terms of the differences between my home target and the targets at the range. Because my hay at home is, like I said, slightly to the left, and I wouldn't be able to get 10 yards, 15 yards away from it and shoot straight, because it's just not possible the way that it's set up. So I went out to the range today. I tried to reproduce my technique, didn't work. I tried to do the techniques that were in the book of the instinctive archery, because he had suggested canting the bow and bending at the waist and, you know, drawing the bow this way, and I tried all that. Just nothing, man. And I've decided that when I get frustrated with what I'm doing, when I start feeling frustrated or I feel inept or incompetent, I'm going to stop, rather than continue to reinforce that negativity, because I'm afraid that if I do that, it's going to burn me out. I'm going to go, why am I going to continue to do this when I'm just so horrible at it, you know? So, right now, that's the reason why I'm not still at the range. Because of the fact that I got to that point, and not to mention the fact that I felt a little uncomfortable being there and firing on the targets while everyone else was off doing the work that I didn't want to do. So that's where my head is right now. Just trying to appreciate the fact that I can still shoot, even though I'm not hitting the target. I've been doing this for 2 months now. I'm not any better than I was before. Something's wrong. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm going to need to actually go and get instructions from a professional or a trained archer so that I can learn what I'm doing wrong and fix it. So that's all that's going on with me. I hope everybody else is doing well. Talk to y'all later.